Hi everyone, I'm Hao, and my major is industrial design, but my job now is UI UX designer. I have spent like 3 years graduate school learning industrial design, and I have taken two internships before. One of them is industrial designer, and the other one is UI UX design. So I think both of them like are good experience for me and helped me a lot when I was do the job hunting. And I meet CYC in very lucky way, and they help me a lot over both my job hunting and also improve myself, like communicate with other people. So it's very happy to be here to share my personal experience with you. Thank you. Most of the interview I got like over one company, it's about 2 to 3 rounds. And the first one round always goes to the HR, ask some basic questions, like they let you introduce yourself and they ask some basic and professional skills you have to make sure you are the person they want to talk to the next step. The first round actually is really easy. I think it's easy for them to decide to have you to the second or not, because it's just like, do you know Photoshop? Do you know Illustrator? If you do, we can like ask our designers to meet you to ask like your design experience. Mm-hmm. So the second round is more about your experience, like what you did before. For me, like as a UI UX designer, they may ask about one or two projects I did before, and let me go through a brief process of those design experience and ask some details. If they are interested, they will ask more about the product you go through, like why do you think it's a good way to solve the problem? Did you go to some like wrong way during your design process? How did you solve those problems you got? And the third round is the final round. They always goes with the manager level of that company, usually like CEOs and the directors. They sit with the designers together and they ask you to share your design experience again, and then like ask you more questions they are curious about. Like the designers most care about your design skills, but like the manager and the directors, they care about how you learn new stuff. Do you enjoy an environment to work with other people? Mm-hmm. And how do you handle the difficulties you meet during the job, the works? Most of the interviews are similar, but some like might be different. I had one interview that the designers asked me to sit down and design some stuff with her. That one is really interesting. Mm-hmm. So at that time, just be relaxed, and it's not a hard time. Just share every idea you comes to your mind to them. They just wish to make sure that you are a person who can generate several ideas, mm-hmm. but not focus on one point. Like for me, personalities are very important because it's a way to communicate with others. Mm-hmm. It's a way to lead those people to ask you a question. If you are very like reflex and you like to talk about yourself, you like to sharing more stories, mm-hmm. It's a good way to lead them to ask you a question. So like that's another way to show yourself. Mm-hmm. That's why I think personality is also important. But yeah, professional skills are the most important thing. Yeah. The main reason I find CYC is that I don't know my problem. I think like a lot of people may have the same like confused as me, mm-hmm. because we all spend a long time during like searching on LinkedIn and Master and maybe Glassdoor, mm-hmm. and we send a lot of applications. We change our resumes and portfolio several times, but still get less replies. Mm-hmm. So I think I need someone who can help me over my problems.
I think the biggest issue you said that you were facing was that you really couldn't ever get past the first round interview. And so we dived a little bit deeper into that, and I was like, okay, so how was the first round interview going? Like, what were you saying? What were they saying? How were you answering? And I found it to be really interesting that the first thing that came out of your mouth was asking about sponsorship.
Oh, that was a horrible memory. And so I always remember, don't ask the stupid question over the first interview. After joining CYC and finish those 4 courses, I find my biggest problem might be how to answer the interview questions, like how to introduce and show all my good point to the company. And another stuff is when I added my resume, I should know a better way to emphasize all the stuff I can do to pop up all the learning skills over myself. I used to send about 8 to 10 applications every day. And so before I joined CYC, we can see that 30 to 40 applications each month. So I may get 6 to 8 first round interviews each month. But it's very flexible because I can get 2 to 3 interviews in 1 week, but I can get no interviews in the other week. But after joining CYC, especially after finish the resume and the CV editing, those replies just becomes more. To myself, it's in a very short time, things just changed. And I feel those stuff really works. And after I added my resume, I just update it in different websites. I update all my resumes on LinkedIn, on Monsters, and because sometimes not just you find the job, those HRs and the recruiters find you too. So you have to update all your information to make sure they see your stuff and that they can find you. So after joining CYC, my final round of interview in that week, I got 5 interviews in 1 week. That's amazing for me.
Wow.
And I feel super confident. Looking for jobs, people all have a hard time. Just don't give up. Just keep improve yourself and find a way to solve your problem. And you will get more interviews and the final good news. Another thing that CYC helps me a lot, myself, not that know H1B very deeply. So it's hard for me even to introduce H1B to those companies who have no idea what this is. So I think it's important to do some research and to imagine that in different situations, how you show those stuff, how you ask those stuff to to the company, and in which state you should show this question. Because I asked this stupid question at the very beginning at the interviews, and that's not good. So I'm very lucky that this company who finally hired me, they do offer H1B to a lot of people before, so they know the whole process. But most of their employees are in the STEAM major, so it's they have a whole process, they are used to that process. So I have to make sure that they know my situation. I only have 1 chance to take the lottery. So I have to make sure they know the time exactly to apply for H1B, because we have the 90 days time period to prove ourselves, and they have to make the final decision after 90 days. So that date for me is very close to the date I apply for H1B. So I have to let them make sure after those 90 days, I have to start apply for the H1B very soon. I can't wait for the next year. And those information is although it's important for us, but the company HRs they can't remember those information for each people. So you have to make sure with them before you start the job. That's really important. People, I think like no one like to make large changes after they start really working. But if you have questions about yourself, if you have a feeling that you have spent a lot of power and time on job hunting, but still not get good results, you feel your skill, your ability is much more higher than like the people are looking for, but still can get interviews. You really I think you should find CYC. You should join the program. You should learn like the real professional way to answer questions, to introduce yourself, and to understand the questions behind the questions, to understand like what the people really asking you. I really highly recommend this program to all the person who are looking for jobs. 很开心能在这里跟大家分享一下我的求职经历。我知道就是求职是一件对大家来说就是很头疼的事情。然后很多人可能跟我一样花了大概5-6个月的时间找工作，但是要坚持下去，加油，不要放弃。然后如果你觉得很头疼或者很烦躁的话，就来找 CYC 的老师们聊一聊。然后如果你不确定要不要参加这个项目的话，也可以就是和他们聊一些比较专业的，就是关于回答求职问题或者是改 resume 和 CV 的问题，然后老师们都会非常耐心的帮你先寻找到你的问题。如果你确定你想让他们帮你解决的话，再参加这个课程也不迟。然后我觉得这是一个非常好的非常专业的培训方式，非常值得，所以大家加油加油。
It's different for everyone. I think a lot of times referrals or networking can help.
Yeah.
But I also believe that like working really hard at the same time, that ends up giving you the practice that you really need. And so when you do have an opportunity that comes along, you have such a higher percentage possibility of making it to the final round, making it to the offer. So it can be hard. And I think too that like referrals sometimes aren't exactly what people think that they are. So they imagine a referral to be something that is basically getting a job, or they think if I can just get an interview, I can get this job. So sometimes it's important to kind of just know and be comfortable with the whole process of starting to actually getting an offer letter and knowing from negotiating salary to talking about H-1B to being able to eloquently express yourself in an interview.
Yeah.
Like all those things are really important. Number 2, for H-1B negotiation, even after you had already gotten the offer letter and you were talking to your boss about H-1B, there was like almost a little bit of a panic with you because he thought you were a STEM major and you weren't a STEM major and you needed to apply for H-1B this year, right? And you're just getting this offer in December, which is really close. And you were nervous at first. And I remember you reaching out and texting me and saying, he thinks I'm a STEM major. How do I tell him that I only have 1 year of OPT and ensure that he's going to sponsor me this year because I don't have any other option, right? And all it took was just a little bit of back and forth between the two of us and you having the courage to just directly ask him, and he was totally fine with it. And now you're exactly where you need to be with your job and with sponsorship.